Hey everybody, Shane Presley here with Rock Paper Podcast. Let me tell you about this fun event coming up on March 29th over at the Babylon in St. Peters, Missouri. I am part of this show with my friends JPS Productions and 100.7 The Viper. And we are very excited to bring along Troy, Dark Below, Sumpwater Shine, Echoes from Ashes, and Bleach. It's a $5 cover, 5 bands, $5. It's going to be an incredible night of rock and roll. You don't want to miss out on this. So tell all your friends to come on out and pack the Babylon. Again, tickets are available right now if you head over to the Facebook event and get you a link over there. And all that information's more on my page. So check it all out and join us Friday night, March 29th at the Babylon. I also want to tell you about my friends at Naked Vine, located at 1624 Clarkson Road in Chesterfield, Missouri. Swing by and visit them this week for some great live music. On Thursday, March 28th, my buddy Bobby Stevens will be out there. And this is also a benefit night for Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. So come out for a great cause and see Bobby Stevens and plenty of wine, whiskey, and tequila and beer. So on Friday, March 29th, Jake's Leg out there acoustic. So it's going to be a fun night of all your favorite Dead songs. And on Saturday, March 30th, Falling Martins will be out there. So check all that out and more at nakedvine.net. Be sure to follow along on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And I return to Naked Vine on April 9th for my singer-songwriter storytelling showcase. This April I'll have Carson Mann, Hillary Fitz, and Jordan Sloan of Hounds. And that's $5 cover, 7 o'clock start. So come on out. And last but not least, I want to let you know about my friends at Joseph Meyer Club. You can head over to josephmeyerclub.com today and try their brand new aftershave. Use my promo code RPPJMC20 for an exclusive 20% off at checkout. Try it. You're going to love it. I use it myself, and it's a fantastic product. So, again, josephmeyerclub.com. Follow them on Facebook for some more information. And, thanks, everybody. I hope you enjoy the show.
Podcast is kind of like it's like a radio show that's not on the radio. It's on the internet. Does that make sense? Uh-huh. Yeah. That's also like my mom. It makes it sound more confusing, doesn't it? It sounds like this.
This is Andrew Dahl of Andrew and the Dolls, and you're listening to Rock Paper Podcast.
Rock Paper Podcast. Rock Paper Podcast. Rock Paper Podcast, y'all.
Hey everybody, Shane Presley, a Rock Paper Podcast coming to you from St. Louis, Missouri. Hanging out today with Andrew Dahl. Welcome to the show, my friend.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man. I'm excited.
This is cool. I'm glad this worked out. It's our first time getting to really hang out. We kind of been friendly online for a while, and then what was it, like Point Fest or something?
Yeah, Point Fest.
Yeah,
we ran into each other.
Yeah, we ran into out there at Hollywood Casino Amphitheater, hanging out there, which was crazy that he recognized me and all that. You're like, hey, you Shane?
Yeah. Man, because I listen. That's why I'm excited to be here, man. I listen to your podcast a lot.
Very cool.
Like I said, when I pulled up my internet, I had Rock Paper Podcast up. Yeah, right. I like seeing what everybody's up to, and I mean, you're doing God's work right now, Shane.
Well, thanks, man.
For a lot of us, so it's a big deal. So
I've said it a lot on this show, but I'm having the time of my life doing this, man. I'm meeting all kinds of cool people around town and getting to share their songs and stories, and it's just been great, man. But that's what's cool about this show, having this opportunity where we can sit down and get to know more about each other, and not trying to scream over at a bar or whatever, something like that. So anyway, but I don't know a whole lot about Andrew. I know I've seen you a couple of videos online. I know a little bit about your music, but You always grew up around here in St. Louis, or did you move here? Or
Yeah, I'm born and raised here. I went away. I went to Quincy, Illinois for college for a while, and then came right back.
Yeah.
It's just I like the Midwest and travel a lot, and this has always been a good home base.
For sure, man.
Got my friends group around here and
Yeah.
support a family.
Yeah, that's always good. Do they play too, or is that?
My family, I've got my older brother who is kind of a big inspiration for me. He's really good at playing and singing, and you always want to be better than your siblings. And so he got a wife, and he's got a kid on the way, so he doesn't have time to really ever pursue music. But I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do it, and I'm gonna try and be better than my older brother.
Yeah. Is this something fairly new, or you've been playing for a long time?
I've been just playing covers and been really into music for a long time. I mean, I started playing guitar when I bought an old Crate Electra for my buddy back in middle school, and we thought we were going to start this band. None of us could actually play a lick of music.
Right.
We were playing like Smoke on the Water, and I'm sure at like 4 different tempos and in like 3 different keys. But we were trying, and we'd get together in my buddy's basement, and that never, obviously never took off, and I never revisited the idea until I started hanging out at open mic nights, and then over time people are like, man, you should really do something with this, and I'm like, cool, I appreciate that. And that was probably a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years ago.
Oh,
so
wow.
I went from playing music in my basement and just kind of posting videos on Facebook to getting shows, and I mean, a lot of my first shows came out of open mics. Jeff over at Joni's, shout out to Joni's and Soulard. He only saw me at open mics, and he heard that I kind of wanted to do more with it, and he was like, dude, we would love to have you. So he's been booking me every month, and it kind of just grew from there.
Yeah, man, that's incredible. Like to think that. We did do a little live jamming here today, and so I got a good preview of what you're doing, and like to think that you've only been doing this, for a while now. Like, I guess you're saying like 2 years, I guess, really actively. That's pretty wild, man.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
I'm excited. The last year is really the time I spent sort of gigging and putting music out, and not as an album, but just videos online.
Mm-hmm.
And the response I've got has been overwhelming, and it makes me really excited for the future, really.
I think the first thing I took notice to was maybe that Show Me Roots video.
Oh, Show Me Roots.
Yeah, some of the video series that they're doing over there, and I think that was one of the first things I remember after we become friends and stuff. I saw that pop up, and I think that's part of it too. Like, I'm not that I have any idea what your voice would sound like, but like I think I'm kind of taken back when you first start singing. It's like you don't really quite expect that coming out, and sometimes and that's kind of the fun of it too. Is like, and then you got that kind of a deeper and growl kind of in there, and that rasp and everything, and it all sounds good, man. I was really digging that, and then like I said, the stuff we did today, but. I'm excited for this record and see what else you guys have been coming up with. But is writing always been there though? Like, I mean, did you find yourself writing a lot, or is these all kind of still with the new too?
Writing's very new. I think my first song I wrote was like October of last year.
Whoa, man!
And so it's all very new. It's all kind of just hit me, and I've always been a very creative person. Always did art. Drawing and painting and stuff like that. So I kind of had the creative jump start, but I think it's funny when people say, oh, I could never write music. No, you could.
Yeah. I
mean, the first songs I wrote were really shitty, and you just grow from there. I mean, every time I go through like these creative cycles where I can write 3 songs in 3 days.
Mm-hmm.
But that's like, I can only do that maybe once every couple months.
Right.
And I'll go through these spells of like just writing really terrible songs while I'm not like in this creative mood. But every time I do have one of those cycles, I do see, because I'm writing so many shitty songs, that the next batch of good songs when I'm in my really creative mode is a step up. And I'm like, man, my lyrics are getting better, my storytelling is getting better. It's not just rhyming words anymore. It's gone beyond that and really kind of formulating stories, and then kind of matching vowel sounds and stuff to what I actually want to say versus, oh yeah, car rhymes with bar. I'll just rhyme those things, which is how it started. That's how everybody starts.
Sure.
You pick a couple chords and you start rhyming words until it makes some sort of sense.
Right. I've talked about it a bunch on here, but like it's sort of a bucket list thing for me. Wanting to write some songs and I don't know. I'm sure I'll sit down and I'll apply myself one of these days. But my problem is shutting off everybody else's songs. I got so many lyrics and things stuck in my head from everybody else's songs all these years, and it's like so it's hard for me to kind of shut that off and create something original. But
yeah, but I don't think that's a bad thing. I think that's when you listen to so many a big variation of different artists. I think the combination of everybody you've been listening to sort of creates your own voice.
Right.
I think it was John Mayer that said, "You are who you are when you try and be somebody else but fall short." And I think that's a great quote from him. He's like, I've always aspired to be all these different musicians, and so growing up, I tried to be just like them. I was never going to be just like them,
right.
And I fell short. But now I'm John Mayer, and it's like who hasn't had those influences?
True.
Who hasn't drawn inspiration from one artist to create their song? And if you hear major artists talk, they're saying, well, I really like that song from Townes Van Sant, and I was so in love with it, I've created my own version of it. It's a different storyline, a different, different chords and a different key and different notes, but you can see where they've drawn inspiration from that, and I think it's, I don't think it's copyright at that point. I don't think it's, a plagiarism. I think it's just, that's who you've become because of the influences you're around, If it wasn't a musician you were being influenced by, it'd be your parents, you'd be taking stuff from them and your brothers and sisters. And
yeah. They, you mentioned like 3 songs in 3 days kind of thing, and like just today I popped up on Facebook, and I didn't go fact check it, but I want to believe it's probably pretty accurate, but they said that they had a picture of Dolly Parton saying that she wrote I Will Always Love You and Jolene in the same day in 1976 or something like that. And I was like,
yeah,
it's kind of crazy to think about that, writing 2 of the biggest songs in the same exact day and stuff like.
You think it's weird, but I think it's Willie Nelson that said it too. He said if you don't write a song in one sitting, it's no good.
Yeah.
And people write songs in different ways. So if that's not your style, then it's not your style.
Sure.
But I think there's a lot of truth in that. That you're in a mindset, for a very short period of time. If I wake up tomorrow after I've had a crazy dream or had conversations with other people, I'm in a different mindset. I'm not having that same feeling. I'm not. And especially if it's a storytelling song like Her Jolene or something, if you're in that mood and you are that person, how do you break away, go grab a sandwich, and go have a conversation with your friends or go to a bar and then come back and be that same person?
Right.
It's tough, so it's like I'm a big believer in that. I think the songs that have taken me weeks to write versus hours are always weaker. I think it's like they've been diluted.
Right.
But the stuff that I really like to play and and I think people like to listen to are very strong because they were written in the moment. And I sat down and I gotta finish this before I get up and go get something to eat. So
well, cool. Well, speaking of all this songwriting, let's drop in one of your tunes. Give them a little preview of some of our live acoustic stuff we were doing today. We'll start with Crabgrass. This is anything you want to share around this one?
Yeah, Crabgrass is it was inspired by a lot of people around me sort of going through cancer, and sort of the feeling of losing loved ones. In this situation, this is sort of a storytelling because I'm not the protagonist in this story, And so I've kind of put myself in the position of a blue collar worker who's been, working his life away, finally found somebody that, makes him happy and is worth living for, and who becomes his wife. And in the end, he feels really guilty about losing her because, he feels like he wasn't worth anything without her. And now, she dies before he does, even though he was drinking and smoking and everything. And he asks the question, like, is now me living on, is my life worth the price you paid? Because he feels so guilty about losing her. And so that's sort of what it's about. Cool. This first one's called Crabgrass.
I spent most of my life working on a line and selling my body for less than what it's worth. At the end of the day, I would ration my wages for cigarettes and a little plot of dirt. I had given up on life, didn't have the money nor the time. Wasn't worth the hole my boots were standing in. But then you came around and you pulled me up from the ground. You're an angel, truly heaven sent. Dear Rosie, my friend, tell me, in the end, when they lay my cold body in the clay, will my soul have been worth the price you paid? Dear Rosie, dear Rosie, I got a job with the state. We moved my trailer to the lake, and you kept me fed and fat as a tick. I got my guitar out of pawn, but we had crabgrass for a lawn. No money, but we somehow still felt rich. And then in '92, we found that blind dog you named Blue, and a couple years later we put him down. We spoke of life after death, and I remember what you said. You said you'll find me when my time comes around. Dear Rosie, my friend, tell me, in the end, when they lay my cold body in the clay, will my soul have been worth the price you paid? Dear Rosie, dear Rosie, between the smoke and all the booze, we figured I would go before you, but life always has a different plan. So we spent years in cheap motels and all our money fighting cells, losing hope with every fucking scam. I figured life wasn't fair when you started losing all your hair, but I'd sing you songs and I'd try to ease your pain. And you stayed strong and you would try to sing along, but I would cry and we'd have to start again. Dear Rosie, my friend, tell me, in the end, when they lay my cold body in the clay, will my soul have been worth the price you paid? Dear Rosie, dear Rosie, so I get high to pass the days and I just piss time away, picking guitars and cursing at the moon. And with each short breath, I'm feeling closer to death and keeping a promise I once made to you. Dear Rosie, my friend, tell me, in the end, when they lay my cold body in the clay, will my soul have been worth the price you paid? Dear Rosie, dear Rosie, dear Rosie, dear Rosie.
that's one thing I noticed when you were performing the song was the songwriting and the storytelling on it, because that's really something I just am drawn to, is the storytelling in the songs and stuff. So I was particularly fond of that, and the fact that, like you're saying, how like you can kind of take on that role as a writer and stuff, kind of telling that story and things. It's pretty cool, man.
Yeah, I think the idea is to try and give people things to hold on to. You know, if you just only tell people ideas without really kind of putting them in their shoes and giving them the tiny details, I don't think people really relate to characters. Mm-hmm. You know, you have to talk about their dogs that died and how they have crabgrass for a lawn. That's how it gets its name, because there's that line in there that says, you know, we had crabgrass for a lawn. And I think, you know, those little things that you give people really create an image, and so it paints a picture.
Yeah, definitely. That's something I talk about a lot too, is listening to those songs like that, and then like kind of I start making painting the picture in my mind like that, and it's something I think about too, with like maybe someday trying my hand at making music videos and stuff, because I'll start picturing all the stuff in my head, and I'm like, that could make a good video or something, or whatever it might be. And so someday I'd like to try to apply all that, but that's kind of the goal with these cameras. Maybe someday I'll learn enough about these and start trying to do that. But
yeah, that'd be awesome, man. With as much as you've learned about podcasts, and you've been killing it for 600 and whatever number you've been at, I'm sure you could try your hand at music videos and do an excellent job.
Yeah, it's I think it would be fun, man. Like I said, it helped kind of making those stories come to life like that. Like I said, there's a lot of really good imagery in that song especially, and then that, you know, a lot of other songs that people, it'd be fun to kind of make that come to life and tell that story.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, you now when you're writing something like that, is that like, do you draw from a piece of truth, or is it all? Do you often fictionalize all this stuff? And
it's a little bit of both.
Yeah.
I mean, the feelings are very real. I've never been married and never lost a spouse to cancer, but these feelings are still real for me, losing friends to cancer. My mom went through cancer, and I got scared to death I was going to lose her, and so those feelings are very real. And when I wrote that, man, I was holding back tears, because it was putting me. I was in a spot. That's why I couldn't get up and stop doing what I was doing, because I was in that mood, and I was like, I really want to sell this story to other people and have them feel what I'm feeling. But a lot of the little details, like the crabgrass, dude, I only have crabgrass in my lawn, and so I'm trying to think of things like, what can I put of my own personality of, like, so that it gives this character a sense of realness, versus it just being a figment of my imagination. What pieces could I draw from that? And I think I had to draw some pieces from my life for sure.
Yeah. It's funny how, like you're saying, the crabgrass line sticks out and stuff, and how just like one line can just like really like just make the whole song sometimes, like that and stuff. Like there's that one attention to detail, and one that's been like really sticking with me of late. Do you ever listen to John Moreland?
I don't.
No. He's one of my favorite writers. He's got a record called In the Throes that came out like the same. I think they came out the exact same day as Jason Isbell's Southeastern record.
Okay, so a little while ago.
Yeah, and John since put out I think 2 other records since that. But anyway, those came out the same day along with something else, but they called it like Americana Christmas or something like that. Like because all these great records came out the same day. So anyway, John and Jason's records are like, since then I've always like just been, I have to listen. If I listen to one, I have to go listen to the other, kind of thing. So there's a line in John's. He's got a song on there called Blues and Kudzu, and there's a line where he says, "A choir of cicadas and box fans," and I'm like, man, that is like the most country thing I've ever heard of. Like
A choir of cicadas. Yeah, that paints a huge picture. I mean,
right,
who hasn't been, out in the, the sticks in a cabin somewhere?
for sure.
Even if it's just on a float trip and just, cicadas and box fans.
Yeah,
Man.
yeah.
That gives you feelings. It goes way beyond just knowing that sound.
Right. But that's what I mean. Like that's it just speaks to me. Like I said, that was a lot of my childhood, like growing up in the country, and we always had box fans, and there's always cicadas around and stuff when they were in season and stuff, and sitting out there buzzing and all that. But yeah. Anyway, it's just funny. I like those one line will stick out like that, and like, man, that's a good one, really. But we mentioned working on the record. I guess this will be your big debut, right?
Yeah, this will be my debut album. I haven't put out anything. I put out small recordings, but
Yeah.
nothing as big as this, I guess. If you can even call it big, relatively large.
Right.
For what I've been doing, I guess.
And Crabgrass will appear on the.
It will, yeah. It's going to take the spot of a song I'm not so fond of. I'm fond enough of it, but
Now, when you take it for the record, I mean, are you doing a pretty minimalist approach to it? Are you beefing it up a little bit?
it's not over the top, but it's not bare bones.
Mm-hmm.
I've got like Gavin playing banjo on a couple of tunes, Gavin McNutt, and I've got like Megan Yankowska's doing female vocals and stuff. So it's not just me and a guitar for sure, but it's not.
Is it still mostly acoustic, or are you doing some electric in there too?
It's mostly acoustic. There's going to be an electric guitar, like a Nashville sounding Telecaster in some of them, and some of them, but otherwise it's just going to be pretty much my acoustic guitar, bass, some banjo, and we got a violin and some of pianos.
Yeah, very cool.
A little bit of everything, just kind of depending on the song, feel the song, and I've kind of gone back and forth whether or not like the songs that do have piano in there, I love the piano on them, and I've kind of been like, do I hold those back and do something with that later where it kind of matches the sound better, or do I just sort of try and do like a gradient effect on the songs where it starts very bare bones or something and goes to more instruments or vice versa, or I haven't really decided on that yet. Like I said, it's still kind of, we've got a bunch of the recordings done, but it's still sort of being molded into what I kind of want it to be, which is why the launch is being pushed out. We're going to release some singles, but that we know are going to be on there, but otherwise I don't have a title for it. It's an untitled album so far, and
Yeah, well, I don't know exactly what the quote was, but it's like you got forever to make your first record, but then it's like the sophomore albums. Yeah, the next one is when you gotta crunch time trying to create another one, because that's when everybody's gonna be wanting more and stuff. And
well, hopefully.
yeah, right. Yeah.
I mean, if they don't want more, you got all the time in the world.
Yeah. Somebody was also telling me something the other day. I forget the guy's name now, but he did like one record in the 70s, and kind of country singer guy, and everybody's always like, hey man, when are you gonna do another album? He's like, well, what's wrong with the first one? He's like,
that's a good line though.
Yeah,
that's
so
that's funny.
but yeah, anyway, but so keep an eye out. Maybe we'll get that. Are you guessing summer or fall or something? Or
I'm hoping summer. Yeah. I've got Megan Yankowska's who's doing clarinet on a couple of the pieces. I didn't even mention that, but
yeah,
she's an amazing clarinet player. Is clarinetist the word? Probably not. And our vocals, I was like, do you do vocals? And she did one backup vocal for me at one point, and I was like, holy cow, you're doing backup vocals for this rest of this album. She even has on one of the songs, she has her own verse and stuff. And I'm like, I'm just really blown away with how good our voices sound together. And she's moving to Germany in May. So I'm like, we got to get all your stuff done by May.
right.
And if we do that, it'll give me a little, I'm thinking May, June and July, I can finish up recordings, and hopefully in July everything can get sent off to Nick Blackburn, who's going to mix all my stuff.
Very cool.
and so hopefully we have a mix and mastered album by August, hopefully.
Yeah, man. Well, that'd be exciting for sure. Let's give them another one. You said this was a newer song that you wrote and kind of bumped another one off of the record, maybe Gasoline?
Yeah, Gasoline is just sort of like I needed a little more energy in that album, I think. And so this one's a little higher energy. And I wrote this talking about, writing them in a couple hours or something. I wrote this, I came home from playing a gig, and I was sort of still in that mindset of music and kind of the thrill of playing, and I sat down at 1 a.m. and finished this song before 3:00 and then passed out.
Cool, man.
And it's dedicated to 13-year-old me and my crush at the time, and in middle school, and sort of that idea of like losing your childhood innocence at a certain age, and realizing that it's not going to be about cars and technology, all these things that little kids like their iPads and stuff care about.
Sure.
Eventually it's going to be like, holy cow, I'm into girls now, and life has changed. And so it's sort of about that, and that idea of like, it sort of just hits you like a train, and you're like, man, why do I have all these feelings like so strongly at this point? So it's just kind of taking my emotions from that time in my life and sort of manifesting them as sounds.
Yeah.
And words.
All right, this one's called Gasoline.
I was 13 when your face burned its place in my heart. Concerned less with girls back then than I was with fast cars. I was impressed with the ways you never played by the rules. So I've been in everything I know, and I fell for you. Maybe it was all the gasoline, all the fast cars in my daydreams. Maybe it was your lack of interest in me, boy. Desire burn like gasoline, burn just like gasoline. Ooh, gasoline. Ooh, fast cars and daydreams. Ooh, gasoline. Desire burn like gasoline. Supposed to know that life would never be the same, that fast cars would take back seats to you and those long legs. Oh, what I'd give if I could only change the ways of the world. And I'll be with you, and I call you my girl. Maybe it was all the gasoline, all the fast cars in my daydreams. Maybe it was your lack of interest in me, boy. Desire burn like gasoline, burn just like gasoline. Ooh, gasoline. Ooh, fast cars and daydreams. try to play your game. You and I, so polite, I could tell you hardly knew my name. I was a twisted tongue with sweaty palms, and you took the air straight from my lungs. But you were still so unreal, foreign tank to my love. Maybe it was all the gasoline from all the fast cars in my daydreams. Maybe it was your lack of interest in me, boy. Desire burned like gasoline, burn just like gasoline. Ooh, gasoline. Ooh, fast cars and daydreams. Ooh, gasoline. Desire burn like gasoline.
It is kind of crazy, man. Like to think about like how much what we thought was so important then, and it's like zero relevance today, hardly. You know, it's like
Right.
but we put so much effort into it, and it's like I don't know. If I like for me, probably that around that time I was like thought I was gonna go be in the NBA. I was like playing basketball like every day, all the time, and now I couldn't tell you the last time I played basketball. Like it's something. It's just I still love the game, but it was it was just like I played for a while, and then it just kind of things change and kind of lost interest in it and haven't. But that's how we grow up, and like things change. So
Yeah, I think.
but I think that's kind of also the fun of it too. Is like there's some of that innocence, to where you like where I don't really want to grow up. I do have the I'm married and have a good job and all that stuff. But it's like, but I still go out to concerts almost all the time, and stuff like that. There's a lot of stuff the way I live my life that a lot of people don't, and like I kind of hold on to that, like to where, we don't always have to like grow up, we can still go out and have a good time every night. And I still go to work tired every day, but it's more I'd rather have a bunch of cool stories to tell and stuff like that, and than catching up on my DVR and stuff like that. So
Yeah, that's how I am too. I'm like, I can sleep when I'm dead.
Right.
That's a pretty famous saying.
exactly.
If you don't follow that thinking, then you're gonna have a very boring life.
Yeah.
It's like a lot of my friends are like, I gotta work early tomorrow. I gotta get out of here by 9. I'm like, man, my night starts at 9.
Right, exactly.
And I still have to get up at 7 for work tomorrow. And because if I gotta be sleepy at 1 o'clock, so that 1 p.m. at work, so that I can have a good time at night and play some gigs and go to my friends' gigs and stuff. It's just a risk I gotta take.
Sure. Well, and as a writer, it's like you got to live a little life too to have something to write about. So
Right, and I feel like definitely there. It's like that's when you kind of feel guilty that you kind of grew up in such an easy time, and I have so much privilege at that point. It's like you really see it then as a songwriter, because I hear these backstories for a lot of the people I look up to, like Jason Isbell and his life growing up, and we're not parallel. And so that's why I do have to he does a lot of storytelling, but I have to do a lot of storytelling to sort of like make up for the fact that I am a white male living, in probably the easiest time that's ever existed for people, and have a lot of privilege there. It's like I've got to really draw from empathy and being empathetic to things, and that sort of stuff. Yeah, but yeah, living and getting into trouble and doing stuff helps.
Yeah, man. You were talking about cars, obviously, and gasoline and stuff. I was wondering, what was your first car?
My first car was a 1995 BMW 525i, and the thing looked beautiful, but was a piece of junk. I think my dad ended up getting it for me. It was like $3,000 or something, you know. So it was like people were like, "Oh, it's a BMW." When you're in high school, like that's cool.
Sure.
But the funny part about it was the locking system was just the worst. I had to get into my car. I had to go to the passenger side door and unlock it from there. And that would unlock all the doors, but it wouldn't unlock from the driver's side door.
Right.
Which came in handy for dates because all the girls thought I was the biggest gentleman. Because I'd have to walk to their side of the door and unlock and open it. And I wouldn't let them know. They think, "You're just such a gentleman. You always open my door for me." Little did they know I had to do that. I couldn't get into the car any other way.
Right.
And one time I drove my brother to school with me, and we got locked in the car. Like it had a governor system on it or something, whatever they call that, where the doors, if somebody's trying to break in, it'll like lock itself or something. I don't know what they explained it to me. But we were just sitting there in my car, and I was getting ready to get out, and all the doors lock. And it wouldn't let me unlock from the inside. My brother had to I forget how we got the window. I think maybe we turned the car back on and just rolled the windows down. My brother had to jump out of the car window and unlock it from the outside. It didn't make any sense.
It's crazy.
So it was something else.
Yeah. My first car was a 1988 Crown Victoria station wagon.
Nice.
With wood panels. And Dad bought it for me and wanted me to have a big, safe car and all this stuff. And I drove the shit out of that car. We always had a V8 in there. I'd speed everywhere I went and doing all kinds of dumb stuff at 16, like you do. And jumping hills and all kinds of stuff. So the suspension was like all shot and stuff. So like it would just had a bouncing all down the road all the time. And I was telling some friends the other day, but they were kind of in a bluegrass band, and they reminded me of that song, the Gourds. They do a gin and juice cover.
Yeah, gin and juice.
Yeah. And
that's a good cover too.
Yeah. Well, that's I remember that one. Like it was a big part of my high school years. There, I cranked that up, and I had that. And the station wagon had the back window roll down, and I'd bump that out the back window, come up to the school parking lot, and that was it was something to see, man.
Yeah, those Crown Vics are underrated, man. Those are like sleepers.
Yeah.
You don't realize what's under the hood of those things.
Yeah, it definitely was new for such a big car and stuff.
Oh yeah.
It was a lot of fun, man. We used to do a lot of dumb stuff. I took like 13 people to the bowling alley one time in it.
13, yeah.
We packed them in, and then I don't think that was legal, but it happened. But it was fun, man. But yeah, it's there was a lot of good times in that car. We used to have like I got this like plastic rat like Halloween decoration, and I had that duct taped to my hood ornament, and I would drive around with that, and then like when you're going down the highway and stuff, it would like lay down because it was flimsy plastic or rubber, and then like I come to the stoplight and it would like bounce back up and stuff, and people would like look in their mirror and stuff. What the hell was that?
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah, so it was definitely like I said, turned some heads. People wondering what the hell's going on with that car.
Man, those were some exciting times, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember I probably got pulled over 5 or 6 times within like a couple months of owning my car. One of them was just because we were having an engine revving competition in Ronnie's parking lot, that movie theater.
Oh yeah.
And the cops were like, I mean, how could they not like stop one of us? And I had the fanciest. One time I got pulled over for being because they thought I was a drug dealer for some reason.
Oh yeah.
They got me out, searched my whole car. This was in because I used to play a lot of basketball too, and I was playing in off of Martin Luther King Drive, and they were like, kid, you don't fit here. They like pulled me over, searched my whole car and everything, and I was like, I swear, man, I just was playing basketball with my friends. And they searched my car, and they're like, okay, I guess you were just playing basketball. Send me off, but man, those are exciting times in life when you're first mobile.
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
and the world's sort of your sandbox, and at that point, you can go anywhere you want. We got in a lot of trouble.
Yeah. Let's give him another one. A song called "Roll On Home." Performed live here, acoustic. Is this and this also looking like it's going to make the record?
Oh yeah, I think just kind of the rhythm and everything. People really have sort of vibed with it. The lyrics aren't as meaningful to me, I guess, but the idea of it is, and it's based on this one of my favorite saying, "A Rolling Stone gathers no moss," and because a lot of times I feel like that, you know, it's hard. I have a hard time keeping girlfriends and stuff, and just because I'm always on the move, and so I kind of identify with that a little bit, and some other people in my life I feel like are major Rolling Stones, and so the whole idea for that is like, you know, what happens when that stone reaches the bottom, you know, because there's the stone's being pulled by something, you know, and in real life physics, it's gravity, and eventually it's gonna hit the bottom, and at that point, like, you know, you have to be ready to hit bottom. So it's like where the line's like when you reach the bottom of the hill, and there's too much pain for you to kill, you know, yourself, and feels like the end of the road, you know, rolling home. So it's like, it's just sort of based on that, and I think it turned out really well as an idea. So I'm pretty happy with it.
Yeah, man. Very nice.
All right, this one's called Rolling Home.
Well, your heart has been drawn to the place we go, the cities and the towns you've never been. Where the soles of your shoes are all worn to the bone, the scrapes and the scars on your skin. You can't win. In a room full of friends, you can still feel alone. The wind always takes you where it goes. Maybe it's time to put some ice on that stone. The bottom, no left for you to roll. So roll on home. When you reach the bottom of the hill, and there's too much pain left to kill, and it feels like the end of the road, then roll on home. Then roll on home. You can spend all your time trying to figure out this life, looking up to God and asking Him why. But the answers aren't written in stone this time. The stars, they don't always align. That's just a lie. When you reach the bottom of the hill, and there's too much pain left to kill, and it feels like the end of the road, then roll on home. Then roll on home. So pick up the pieces you've been carrying for so long, find someone to help you along. 'Cause you can't roll through this life on your own. We all need somewhere where we belong. So roll on home. When you reach the bottom of the hill, and there's too much pain left to kill, and it feels like the end of the road, then roll on home. Then roll on home.
Let's talk about some of your shows. You can come see Andrew play some of these songs live. We do have every Thursday now. You have a little residency over at 1860 Saloon.
Yep, 1860s Bar and Saloon, 6 to 8.
Yep. And then say every Thursday. And then we have coming up March 29th at Edgewild in Chesterfield area.
Yep, that'll be with Tim Perry too. So it'll be Tim Perry and I.
You guys do a lot together, or is it?
We do Edgewild, and I think we need to do more things together. Really, I really like Tim. So
Do you guys like collaborate or just alternate? Or?
sometimes we out there we alternate. We do 30 minutes. We both like singing and playing.
Yeah.
But he's a really good lead guitar player, and so usually at the end of the night I'll play like All Along the Watchtower or something, and he'll play lead to it.
Nice.
It's a lot of fun. He'll show up to 1860s every once in a while too and play lead guitar for me, which is a lot of fun. But he's just a very talented musician.
Yeah. And then the next night, March 30th at Irish Corner Pub, and you said this one will be full band, Andrew and the Dahles.
Yeah, full band. That's the same night, I think.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, Friday night. Yeah, it's the 29th. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
I'll be going from from Edgewild.
No,
I think it's like 5 to 7.
okay.
And then from there I'll be headed to Irish Corner Pub for the band gig.
A late night shift, huh? Yeah.
Yeah, we'll be playing till 1.
Yeah.
Those are always fun nights.
That's a cool little spot. I like Irish Corner Pub a lot over there. It's a fun thing.
Yeah, it's. I think there's always dogs in there, so it's dog friendly.
Yeah.
I like going anywhere that's dog friendly.
I saw something for St. Pat's. Some dog had like a green mohawk going and stuff. And
Nice.
I guess he's kind of a regular over there, but yeah, he's like a big poodle. And it was.
Yep, saw him the other night.
Yeah.
I was there on Wednesday, hosting their open mic, and yeah, and he was the big poodle was there. He's always staring people down.
Right.
But he's a good dog.
Yeah.
He looks real scary because he's a big old poodle.
Right.
And for some reason, poodles just look scary. You ever notice that? Like when you don't know a poodle, it's this big old dog, and they've got like very human-esque eyes. So when they're staring at, like, you can feel a poodle staring at you, because like human instinct is like to know when people are looking at you, and so you'll like be looking across the room, and be like, holy crap, that's a dog staring at
Yeah.
me. You know, they got human hair and everything, and they're usually the sweetest dogs, but they're just when they're staring you down, it's scary.
Let's talk about the band a little bit.
Oh yeah, I would love to talk about the band.
Who are some of the guys that are playing with you?
So I've got Brent Feldman. He plays lead guitar for me. I've got Josh Rivera. He plays drums. Audrey Kwong. She plays the violin, and Andrew Menger plays bass for me. And so that's sort of like we're the 5 main characters, I guess, and then we'll have some supportive characters every once in a while, to make things fun. I guess that's the beauty of Andrew and the Dolls is doesn't narrow us down to anybody. Anybody could be the Dolls.
Right.
But they're all very talented. Audrey Kwong works for St. Louis Symphony. She does a lot of the logistics and stuff there, like kind of coordinates everything, and so she's sort of like the musical Nazi, I guess, if you will, and make sure everything is up to par. And she'll sit there and nitpick at recordings, which I love her for that. So thank God for Audrey.
Yeah. You are these people you've known a long time, or you just kind of met through playing out now, or?
Brent has been with me sort of from the beginning of me sort of deciding I want to embark on this journey, and he used to be my boss at Matchbox Design Group, so he's a co-owner of that, and I used to intern there when I was leaving college, and then he saw a video of me playing like John Mayer's My Stupid Mouth or something online, and it had a bunch of my guitars in the background because I got a pretty extensive guitar collection, and he's like, man, you have more guitars than me, we need to jam. And that sort of turned into like, we sound pretty good together with him playing lead and me just writing songs, and so it sort of took off from there. Josh Rivera, my drummer, ended up moving in with me. He was good friends with my old roommate and needed a place to stay. He was moving down from Chicago. He was in a band there playing punk rock. And so I was like, dude, it's going to be a lot different. Folk rock is a lot different than punk rock. And so he's sort of been making that transition. And but he lived with me, so it gave us a good opportunity to sort of bond and get stuff going. And then Audra met through Gaslight. And I was going to their open mics and stuff, and she was showing up there. She had just moved here from California. And so she hopped on board, and then Andrew sort of was another one I sort of picked up at an open mic night. He was playing bass for people and playing viola. He plays viola as well, and he's very musically talented as well. He can pretty much pick up any instrument and play it. Yeah. He's very impressive. But we only had a spot for a bass at that point. I'm like, if you want to play bass for us, that'd be great. It's not his first or his second instrument, so it's pretty talented to be able to do that.
That Gaslight, man, that's like the hub right now for all kinds of people meeting over there, and it's really cool that we have something like that in our community where that's you can record, you can jam over there, you can meet all kinds of people, and it's like it just seems like it's always players just hanging out at the bar and stuff, and everybody's meeting and networking and everything else, and yeah, it's really neat.
Yeah, I try and go there every Sunday. We're recording some of our songs there.
Oh, nice.
So we kind of have partly in this studio, and then partly at Gaslight, and Rick Wagner's over there helping us with that.
Yeah,
and he's awesome.
Shout out to Rick.
Yeah, you know Rick.
Yeah. I mean, we've talked a couple times over Gaslight, done a few different podcasts over there and stuff, and yeah, he's a real nice guy.
Yeah, I really like Rick. He's gonna come borrow my bass tomorrow, I think.
Yeah.
He was like, anybody get a bass? And I was like, I've got an opportunity to help this man out, and I'm gonna do it because he's done a lot for me. So really excited. We went to him and I went to not Jason Isbell, but Tyler Childers together. A Tyler Childers concert.
Oh, yeah.
He was coming over and helped me with some scratch tracks. And then he said something about Tyler Childers. And I was like, man, I want to go see Tyler Childers, but I can't find anybody. He's like, dude, Sam. And tickets at that point were like, they were being sold originally for like $20 or something. But they had all sold out, and they were for resale. I think we ended up paying $50-something a ticket, each of us. So, but it was a great time. We had a good time.
Yeah.
Snowed like hell.
Yeah, he's a bad dude, man. Tyler's coming on strong recently.
I love Tyler Childers, yeah. Really excited about his path. And
yeah. Is that something you want to kind of get towards something like that, or?
You know, my song Heavy Eyes sort of has his sort of influence, definitely. I was playing a lot of Tyler Childers covers, and I think when I got the idea, for a while, I was having this girl like haunt my dreams. And when I sat down to really write this idea of like being afraid to go to sleep because you're going to have feelings for somebody that you wouldn't have otherwise, you know, because everybody's had those dreams where you go to sleep. A girl from your past like shows up in your dreams from, you know, years before, and then you wake up and you're like, now I have feelings for this girl. Like when I shouldn't, but I do. And for some reason, when I sat down and wrote the lyrics, when I was playing it, I was really kind of feeling a Tyler Childers vibe, and I kind of just rolled with it and let it be, and I think it turned out well. So
yeah, there's a little video of Heavy Eyes on YouTube, right?
Yeah, you can find that on YouTube. I did it just here in the studio and just acoustically.
Yeah.
I did that one. I did Roll On Home and Muddy Waters. So
Yeah, go head over there and click subscribe. Keep an eye out for some more stuff
awesome.
coming soon. And follow along with Andrew and the Dahles on Facebook and Instagram. Right, so you can keep up to more dates and stuff coming there. You were saying you were listening to the Hunter Peebles episode.
yeah, it was, yeah.
Yeah, you said he's become a buddy of yours too, playing around town.
Yeah. When I pulled up my app on my phone, yeah, his was up, yeah, and I was listening to that one not too long ago, and him and I met I was going to see Adam Gaffney at Livery Company, and he was opening for him or something. He played a couple of John Prine tunes, and I was like, man, we're gonna get along. I'm a huge John Prine fan. He played that, and funny enough, Adam Gaffney, Tim Levy, and I went to the Jason Isbell show here at the Peabody, which is now the Dahle Center.
Yeah.
And Adam Gaffney had gotten his tickets way ahead of time. I couldn't get tickets near him, so Tim Levy and I got tickets up in the mezzanine, and we take our seats. And I'm sitting there. I'm talking to Tim. All of a sudden, I feel a tap on my shoulder. I look over. Hunter is sitting right next to me. I'm like, dude, what are the chances? I could have picked any two seats.
Right.
What are the chances we're sitting like right next to each other? So it was pretty funny. So Adam was like, dude, there's seats next to me. Come down here. And I was like, dude, I found Hunter. We're good.
Yeah.
we're gonna hang up here with Hunter. Sorry, Adam. I would have liked to gone down there, but it was mid-show. So
Yeah. We did. That kind of reminds me. I saw Sturgill Simpson at the
Love him
Fox. Yeah. Oh yeah. He had at that point he had just fired his guitar player.
Oh really?
So he played as a 4-piece, and I'd listened to those records and stuff. Never had seen him live before, so I didn't realize that. And I knew he had the guitar player, but I didn't realize that he could shred as much as he does. And man, yeah, he's a really talented guy, and that record is killer. I mean, all of his stuff is, but that In Bloom cover I really dig a lot. Like just the fact that he completely changed it and made it his own and stuff. Like we were kind of talking about that off mic, that being able to do some of that, and it's one that for sure you have no idea it's a Nirvana song and stuff like.
Yeah, I mean, it takes a lot of talent to really take somebody else's work and make it very much, I mean, almost as much yours as it is theirs, And I think some artists do it really well, and
but anyway,
kudos to them.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm at the Fox that night I went with, I can't remember now who I went with, but that was the whole crowd was all my buddies. We're all when getting to our seats and stuff, we're just running into all people we know, hey, so hugs and high fives all around and stuff. So it was really cool to experience that, like you're saying, with the friends and having a bunch of friends in the room and stuff. And there was guys like that, like Isabel and Sturgill and stuff. Those guys, all these other guys are fans of other writers and stuff. So we all want to go see them when they come to town and things. So it's always a cool night out when you can go hang with a bunch of buddies at the show.
It's fun, and I think there's something cool about those level of artists that are not superstars, and you sort of get a bigger density of artists, small artists like us, sort of really identifying with them. So I think that's where you get that large population of other artists going to these shows, because they're not, you don't get mega fans from it's not a Taylor Swift concert where you have a million 13-year-old girls going. It's a lot of these guys hit home to a lot of musicians, so you get a big high density of musicians going to these shows, and so you're bound to run into them. So I think that's cool.
I imagine that'll be a lot of the same story at the John Prine show coming up too.
Oh my gosh, don't bring it up, man. I booked a show that night.
Oh yeah?
I'm really upset about it.
Yeah.
Because I went to buy tickets and I was like, oh man, I'm getting these tickets. And then I was like, before I click confirm purchase, I should check my schedule. And sure enough, man, I got a gig at 9 o'clock or something that night. And I'm kicking myself. I don't cancel gigs, One of my big things is being very reliable and not canceling things. So I'm like, I'm really torn because I missed him when he came. 2 years ago? Was it? It wasn't last year. It was like maybe 2 or 3 years. Maybe about 3 years ago.
Something like, I know he played Roots and Blues in Columbia like last year.
Oh yeah, he did do that, but I don't think he's been.
Yeah, I don't know about being in St. Louis. But yeah, well, hopefully they'll announce some other stuff around. You make it another one.
I'm hoping. Hopefully it keeps kicking.
Yeah.
Sorry, John. If for some reason you're watching this, that'd be amazing. Sorry to say this, but you're getting old, man. I hope to see you soon because I've never seen him live. So
yeah.
I mean, I'm a huge fan, and it's just like every time he comes to town, it's just like something's going on. Mm-hmm. And every time I get this sick feeling in my stomach, like this better not be the last time.
I meant it's way different, but I went to go see one of my favorites. I'm blanking on his last name now. He's a comedian.
I wouldn't know comedians. I'm so bad with comedian names.
Anyway, what the hell's his? I'm having a brain fart. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick. It's probably not good to say it's one of your favorites and then you can't think of his name.
I do that all the time, man.
Tim Wilson. There it is. So I went. He was at the Valley Park Funny Bone whenever that was still a thing, and it was like a Sunday night show, and not a lot of people showed up, and I guess it was enough to where they like, all right, we're gonna do like a half a show kind of thing. So he did like, half an hour set or something like that instead of like his regular headlining hour or whatever it was, and so I'm glad I got to see something. But he like passed like a week later or something like that. So like, and it was really like, it really sucked, man. It's like stinks that like the time I got to see him wasn't a proper experience. Right. But I'm glad that I did get to see him, at least something. But it was that's kind of the thing, man. You never know. Like that's why I live my life the way I do, because you never know when your time's up. So
you never know.
Yeah, man.
That's what a lot of B.B. King people, like fans, are saying. Towards the end of his life, they're like, it wasn't B.B. King there, but we still saw him. It's like at the end he was like, he's not really in his, he's far past his prime, and he was kind of out of it at that point. And people are like, I'm just glad I went. I paid a ton of money for tickets because everybody sort of knew it was coming. And
I saw, the same thing with Chuck Berry, man. Like I saw him a couple of times. Took my mother-in-law. It was kind of a thing for her. She really wanted to see him before he passed, and I went with, and it was okay, but like it's just definitely not the same show. But it's like it's still a piece of rock and roll history, man.
Right.
It's like so. But anyway, let's close this thing out with a snippet of the record. Get everybody hyped up about this. We have a song we're ready to give a little teaser for called Freight Train.
Freight Train, yeah.
And anything we need to know about this one?
Gavin M's playing banjo on it. And it's just sort of a feel good, you're on a freight train sort of song. There's a sadder twist towards the end, which you won't get to in the snippet, but
yeah, I think I'll just head on into town, find a freight train headed westbound, hop aboard and sit on down, ride that train into the blue till I find my way to you. Can't you see I'm on this freight train headed west out of old St. Louis? Got a one-way ticket, bags are packed. I'm hopping state lines, and I ain't never coming back without you.
which I think if I can never write too happy of a song. It's one of my flaws.
Right.
It's just always like when I was writing, I was like, all right, the last verse. I was like, they could either end up together or it could be a bust. And it turns out I wrote in a way that like none of the beginning actually even happens. It's all just been in his mind. But like, you know, but you wouldn't know if you didn't really pay attention to the words. And so it's one of those songs when I play it live, you can see kids kind of bouncing their heads, or adults as well. But it's funnier to see kids doing it because they'll be listening to some of my singer-songwriter stuff, and you know, it'll get to Freight Train. It's like, you know, that's a terrible representation of it. But like, this is, you know, just like this really good train beat, like. And you know, you can see people kind of getting into it, and it's just a fun tune, I think.
Yeah. That you listen to much Aaron Lewis at all? You ever heard any of his stuff? Well, he, you know, obviously was huge with Stained when they were real popular in the late '90s and stuff. But all that Stained songs are all super depressing songs.
Yeah.
You know, like. They're all like really, you know, beefed up rock songs, but like the lyrics are super dark and depressing and things. And then, but anyway, so I saw him one night at the pageant, and he was doing, because some of his stuff's more country now, and some of it's a little more kind of lighthearted, kind of, you know, fit country radio. But there's still a lot of the stuff he was doing was still like Stained songs, just doing them acoustic and stuff. Yeah. But anyway, he was did one, and he goes, "So I fucked up and I wrote a happy song," and and it just made me laugh the way he's like said, like just that idea that, like, you know, because like everything he wrote was so depressing, but he finally wrote a happy one and stuff. But
yeah, I think it's tough. I think it'd be interesting to see the style of songs people write, and then kind of look at like a lot of my, because I have so much failed love stories, you know, and it's like. I have the hardest time writing a love story. I think the only one I've done For You, which is like an old one that I wrote, like when I was starting to write songs, and it's like the first song I ever posted. And, but I wrote a good one called Well I Know, which you can find on Gaslight's Showcase or whatever. They did a video of me doing it in their studio. And I think that's the only one I've written where I'm like, I don't know how I wrote that one. Like, it's so far from anything I've experienced love-wise. Like, you know, I'm in the mindset of somebody else here for sure, because every other love one I'll want to write a love song, because I'm like, people want to hear love songs, you know. When there's been so many, you know, girls who've heard my music and like, why don't they ever end happy? I'm like, I would like to do that for you guys, but like, it's just tough.
Yeah.
You know, when you've got this like, everything's pretty cynical in your brain, you know, about love stories. It's like, it's tough not to put that twist on at the end where something bad happens. And but yeah,
man. Well, very cool. This has been a whole lot of fun, man. I really am glad you agreed to do this, take some time out to hang and get to know a little more about what you're up to. Again, keep an eye out all over the social media. We got this record coming soon. Hopefully we'll have it all cleaned up and ready to roll this summer, so I'm excited to hear it for sure, man.
Yeah, man. Well, thanks for having me. This is awesome. It's a good, I mean, like I said, I've been listening to all your podcasts. Well, I haven't listened to all 600 of them. A lot of the recent ones, I should say. And I'm just really excited that, you know, you're having me on and I get to be a part of it.
Yeah, man, absolutely. And I would love to do it again sometime summer or whatever, whenever we get the record's ready to roll, something like that.
Sweet. I would love that, man.
Debut some new tunes on here or something. So
yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, man. Well, cool. Well, thank you, Andrew. And bye, everybody.
Yeah, see you guys. Thanks for tuning in.
Rock Paper Podcast. Rock Paper Podcast.
Rock Paper Podcast.
Rock Paper Podcast.
Well, yeah, that was it.